Fiercely on here, and we're going to talk about a couple of tips for Fire Emblem Engage. First thing I'd like to talk about is skills and SP. You gain more SP. You don't gain any SP if you don't have any rings equipped to a character. And you gain more by having an emblem ring as opposed to just a bond ring. Which, if you don't know what bond rings are, you unlock them at chapter like 4 or something like that. But when you are equipped with an emblem ring, you get 1 SP per 1 experience point that you get. And I think bond rings are like 50% of that. So every 2 experience you get 1. I'm not 100% certain on the transfer rates there, but something very important to talk about is the SP is how you gain skills. And we're going to take Boucher on here and show you he's been working with Ike. So as you can see, we have defense +1 and then defense +2 that costs 300 SP. But defense +1 only costs 100. So something that I did in my playthrough was I was like, man, I want to wait until I get enough to buy the good one. Well, something I'm going to show you right here is if you buy level 1, now defense +2 costs 200. So whatever the price is, it is a cumulative cost of all the ones before it. So it's like you're skipping steps if you just buy, say, Axe Power 4 at 4,000 instead of buying it at, Axe Power 1, Axe Power 2, building it up as you go. So make sure that you're going ahead and getting your skills when and if you can, because you're going to be unnecessarily hindering yourself by waiting. And SP, like I said, you want to make sure that if you want characters to learn skills, you want to have them equipped with emblem rings, or at the very least bond rings, to gain SP. Otherwise, they will not be gaining SP. All right, the second tip I want to talk to you guys about is inherited skills that are really nice to have, that are kind of, maybe you see them and they don't really scream like, oh, this is really, really good for me. One of the first ones I want to start with is the Lunar Brace. You won't get Erica's emblem ring for a little bit in the game, but as you see, it says if unit initiates combat with a physical attack, deals extra damage equal to 20% of the foe's defense. It says that this effect does not stack if equipped while synced with Emblem Erica. So what that means is you can inherit this skill, but if you still are equipped with Erica, then you don't get the effect twice. What it doesn't tell you is that Erica and her brother Ephraim are in the same emblem ring, and they have a stance switch kind of mechanic where his skill is called Solar Brace, and what he does is he will gain health back based on 20% of the damage that you deal, and then for the plus version it's 30%. And then whenever you're engaged, they fuse and become Eclipse Brace, and they get both effects at the same time. Something that's really interesting is if a unit has Erica's ring and a different unit has Erica's inherited skill, Lunar Brace, it will match whatever brace is being used by the person wielding the actual ring. So if you if you have someone equipped with Lunar Brace in the skill inheritance, and then have someone else engage with that character and become the fused version of Eclipse Brace, then your inherited Lunar Brace will then become Eclipse Brace, and you can get both effects at the same time. That also applies to Gentility here, which is a flat 3 damage mitigation. And on the other end, it's a flat 3 damage buff that you get. And then at plus, you get 5. And then when they're fused, it's both ways. So it's 3 and 3, less damage taken and more damage dealt. Very good for your tanks. Really helps out a lot. And really, from what I've seen, people are underrating this emblem, and I think that it is actually really, really good. Another skill that I think you guys should be looking at is the pair up skill from Corrin. Another later game emblem ring, but the pair up skill is really, really nice. If you're sitting there thinking, man, my tank keeps just getting backup hit by the units that are surrounding him and getting chopped for fucking damage every 2 minutes, well, pair up will stop that completely. And that is a skill that you can inherit. So you can give it to multiple tanks if you want, or you can just have that unit take the Korin ring and they'll have that skill after they reach, I think, skill level 8, maybe? I don't remember exactly when they learn it. It might be 10. And the third and final skill I want to talk about is Celica's skill here, favorite food. I didn't even realize that this skill was here. I didn't really use Celica a lot, and I didn't inherit skills a lot whenever I was starting the game out. But you get Celica pretty early, and this skill is actually really nice, because one of the things that you should be doing, especially if you're playing on the harder difficulties, is making sure that you're eating meals before you go out on your battles, because they give you your whole army buffs. And favorite food is whenever you eat a packed lunch, its engage meter is automatically maxed out. So you can give a unit that, say, you use engage a lot on this packed lunch, give that person this skill, and they can basically stay engaged for, upwards of 6 to 8 extra, or 6 to 8 turns, because you'll immediately you don't have to stand on one of the little PowerPoints that give you your energy back. You can just have this, and it's a really cheap early skill that you can get really easily on a lot of your units. All right, the next tip I want to give you guys is units in this game have what people call internal levels. So Etier, for example, whenever you first meet her, she's like level 3 or so, and that means that she's really level 3. However, there are certain units that you'll meet later on that might be like, or Vander, for example, is a unit who's a paladin, and a paladin is an advanced class. A level 10 lance fighter is needed to become a level 1 halberdier. Once you become an advanced class, you can just use a second seal at any time to change to any of the other ones, as long as you have the proficiencies. You don't have to go back to a base class to then change to the advanced class, which is why we're not seeing this here. But units have internal levels that basically tell you what their real level is, and a unit that you've, like, in the past, it was always better because you got more stats out of it to basically take your, say, regular bow fighter, or take a regular archer and take them all the way up to 20 before changing them into a sniper, because they would, if you didn't, you would lose stats. And in this game, that's not how it works. You don't lose experience, you don't gain lesser experience for being an advanced class, and you don't basically you would be winging yourself by not promoting as soon as you can. Level 10, some units you might get as archers at level like 12. You should probably promote them immediately if possible, things like that. But yeah, use your master seals, buy them up, because you're going to need them, and you're going to want to take your units to the next level as quickly as you can, or to the next class as quickly as you can. Speaking of money, you're not going to get a lot of it in this game, and one very important tip that I think that you should go over is how to spend your money wisely. And definitely donating to Firene and the other nations is something that you should hold off on. As you can see, I've donated to Firene here up 3 times to get them to level 4. However, that really cut into my money early game, and you don't get a good enough benefit out of it. The best benefit is to get them all to level 2 so that you can have all of the adopted animals. But other than that, I would wait until the 2nd and 3rd countries to bother putting any more into them at all. And mainly because the 2nd country gives you more materials for upgrading your weapons than any other country. And the third country gives you more chances of getting a gold corrupted enemy spawn, which basically is how you will gain more money throughout the game. The other important use for your money is upgrading your weapons. As you can see, to get to a steel sword +2 will cost me 1,000 gold. Now the materials, you'll get those over time. Various, missions and things will give them to you, but the gold is one of the things that you're definitely starved for more and more as the game continues. But it's definitely worth it, because if you don't upgrade your weapons, you will start to quickly fall behind in DPS against the enemies, and you don't want that. Otherwise, you're putting your units at more risk of taking more damage and not being able to dish out enough to take out the enemies before, reinforcements and things like that come on. All right, and that was a few tips that I had from my playthroughs of playing the game, and I hope that they helped you guys out, and I hope you guys learned something. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, maybe a like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.